We are living in a time when a graphics processing unit now costs as much as a used car, sometimes $3,000 to $5,000 or more. Personal computer gaming, once the most economical way to build power over time, is becoming a luxury. The all too common reasons are Nvidia's greed, artificial intelligence has ruined everything, or a chip shortage. Those explanations sound plausible because they are easy to understand, but they also raise bigger questions. If it is just those reasons, why are graphics processing unit prices rising along with random access memory, video random access memory, solid-state drives, and even cloud computing? Why have prices not dropped significantly? What we are seeing does not seem to be a single company driving up prices, but rather an entire supply chain simultaneously. Manufacturing, memory, packaging, cloud infrastructure, enterprise demand, they are all converging on one goal, all at once. It shows a market where a handful of companies like Nvidia, TSMC, ASML, SK Hynix, Samsung Electronics, and Micron Technology control critical bottlenecks, and everyone else has to pay whatever price appears at the other end. Most importantly, this impacts students, creators, developers, and anyone trying to learn, build, or compete using modern hardware. So I would like to hear your thoughts. Do you think the high price of graphics processing units is due to the greed of corporations, or because the entire chip ecosystem is now controlled by a few players? Leave a comment with what you believe is the real reason behind this. I read every comment. And if you think this story is more profound than most people realize, stay tuned. In the later part of this video, we will explore the key point that most discussions overlook. Online, similar explanations continue to circulate. The artificial intelligence boom is sucking up all the graphics processing units. Nvidia is prioritizing data centers over gamers. There is not enough video random access memory. Dynamic random access memory supply is scarce. In the United States, bot scalping is rampant. As soon as stock becomes available, groups of speculators use software to wipe out inventory in seconds and resell it on eBay for 1.5 times the price. None of these explanations are wrong, but none of them explain why prices are allowed to remain so high everywhere, all at once. Because those explanations assume the crucial assumption that competition will eventually force prices down. That assumption is no longer true. The real issue is a layered monopoly, not a single company, but an entire chain. Let us start with graphics processing unit design. Nvidia not only leads the market, it effectively controls it. This is not just about performance. It is about ecosystem constraints. Compute unified device architecture, enterprise software, artificial intelligence frameworks, and cloud infrastructure are all tied to Nvidia hardware. When customers cannot practically switch, demand stops responding to price. It is not popularity, it is pricing power. Let us delve a bit deeper into manufacturing. Advanced graphics processing units can only be produced by a very small number of factories, with Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company handling the vast majority of the most advanced technologies. There is no spare capacity waiting to be brought online. There is no abundant supply that can suddenly drive prices down. Let us go even deeper. At the lithography level, the bottleneck is absolute. Extreme ultraviolet lithography machines come almost exclusively from ASML. There are no backup suppliers, no shortcuts, no rapid scalability. If extreme ultraviolet capacity is limited, everything above it is limited by default. Next is memory. High-performance dynamic random access memory and high-bandwidth memory are controlled by a few manufacturers like Samsung Electronics, SK Hynix, and Micron Technology. These companies do not compete by flooding the market. They carefully manage supply, because high and stable profit margins are more important than volume. This is the key point that most discussions overlook. No single link is under real pressure to lower prices. Each link controls a bottleneck. Each layer protects profits instead of pursuing scale. And because demand now comes from artificial intelligence, cloud computing, defense, and government, not just consumers, price sensitivity is hardly important anymore. This is no longer a self-regulating free market. This is a centralized technological power structure. That is why graphics processing units, dynamic random access memory, video random access memory, and cloud computing prices are rising together. That is why they are not falling back down. And that is why this does not feel temporary. So how should you deal with this price increase? I will summarize it right now. Please pay attention. This section will directly affect you. In reality, by early 2026, retail prices were no longer simply adhering to the list price. Most graphics processing units were selling for 30% to 100% more than the list price. Graphics cards with large video random access memory capacities were being purchased first by companies running artificial intelligence tasks. Training models, inference, internal tools, all were directly competing with consumer demand. For the first time, gamers were not just competing with each other. They were competing with businesses that were not afraid to pay four-digit hardware prices. And that changed everything. So how were average users adapting? There was only one way: compromise and acceptance. People relied more on software tricks, deep learning, super sampling, frame generation, upscaling, what I call perceived performance. Some users bought used graphics cards and used them far beyond their expected lifespan. Others rent cloud graphics processing units by the hour, trading ownership for access. And more people are simply abandoning personal computer gaming altogether, switching to console gaming, where prices are fixed and predictable. It all leads to the same conclusion. Technology is quietly filtering out who gets to participate. This is not just about graphics processing units anymore. It is about access to performance, learning, creativity, and opportunity. Next, I will analyze whether there is any chance of graphics processing unit prices falling in the near future, as it impacts both my wallet and yours. Stay tuned. When people ask whether GPU prices will fall, the real answer starts with who is buying GPUs now and why. The ownership of physical GPUs is gradually shifting away from individual users. High-end graphics cards are increasingly being purchased by businesses, research labs, AI startups, and cloud service providers. These buyers do not view GPUs as consumer products. They see them as production infrastructure, similar to servers or networking equipment. As hardware directly generates revenue, price sensitivity decreases. These buyers are not waiting for price drops, seasonal promotions, or adjustments to suggested retail prices. As a result, retail prices are no longer under significant downward pressure. Therefore, prices are unlikely to return to what most people consider budget-friendly. For GPU prices to fall meaningfully and sustainably, supply must increase faster than demand. Currently, the opposite is true. Advanced chip manufacturing is scaling slowly due to massive capital costs, limited production capacity, and long production times. Meanwhile, demand continues to grow from AI training, inference, cloud computing, enterprise workloads, and government projects. Even as gaming demand declines, enterprise demand absorbs the surplus. Artificial intelligence, AI, is a major driver here, and this is not temporary. Each new generation of AI models requires more raw computing power, higher memory bandwidth, and larger VRAM capacities. These are the same resources gamers rely on. But AI workloads generate significantly higher revenue per GPU than gaming did before. From a business perspective, prioritizing AI customers makes sense. Gaming remains important, but it is no longer the top priority when resources are limited. This leads to an ever-widening technology gap. Many users rely on older GPUs, graphics upgrade software, frame generation, cloud GPUs, or fixed-price gaming consoles. Meanwhile, those who can afford ongoing upgrades, companies and high-income users, continue to advance. Over time, this gap widens in terms of performance, productivity, and accessibility. So, the final conclusion is, will GPU prices fall? They may stabilize. They may fluctuate. Some mid-range segments may see slight, short-term declines, but a return to the affordable GPU era of the past is unlikely. This is not a temporary spike due to hype or shortages. This is a disruptive restructuring, driven by who controls the supply and who can pay the highest price. Please continue to the next part, where I will talk about my personal perspective and solutions regarding the rapidly rising price of GPUs. Afterwards, please share your thoughts and solutions in the comments. I will read them all. I am no longer chasing top-of-the-line GPUs. The high-end segment is priced for companies and professional users with budgets, not for the average consumer. I focus on performance per watt. Lower power consumption, less heat generation, and lower cost will last longer. Efficient hardware delivers useful performance over time, not just impressive benchmarks on launch day. I buy based on actual needs, not trends. Most people do not need the highest VRAM capacity or the latest architecture from day one. I also accept a hard truth. Ownership is gradually being replaced by access. Whether it is cloud GPUs, subscription packages, or managed platforms, the industry is shifting from a you own it model to a you rent it when you need it model. Ignoring that shift will not stop it. I am not dismissing new technology. I use it, respect it, and benefit from it. But as access becomes more expensive, fewer people have the opportunity to experiment. So the real solution is not chasing power. It is about being purposeful, knowing when to upgrade, when to wait, and when not to jump into the game. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you liked our video and subscribe to our channel.